Many people in our society are very cautious about talking about death. However, we have been created and we have a finite being. So we have, since our start of being human, we have lived and we have died. And grief is actually something that we try to avoid because it hurts. But it actually is a good thing that we grieve because it means that we have loved deeply. We go out and we take care of the deceased, meaning what happens to their body, how can we present them to the family. There's a lot of changes in how people do dying. And not everyone chooses to have funerals or viewings. Those are traditions that are changing. This could very well be the last time a family views their loved one, so we want to present them in the best way possible.
So at Samaritan, we wanted to see if there was something we could do to enhance the pronouncement process. We looked at the literature, we looked around at other hospices, other organizations to see what they were doing, and we even talked about what we were doing. And we found out, first of all, that we were doing some wonderful, wonderful practices. Can we gather what we know we were doing so very well, enhance it a little bit from what we're learning from the literature, and make a ritual out of it?
We created a packet that both captures transitional objects or tokens of remembrance. It includes prayer, it includes practical guidance on all those numbers you need to call when someone dies, and it also talks about how do you care for yourself in your grief.
There is material in there that tells them that, first of all, grief is absolutely normal, that it's going to be hard, that it's not pretty, and that this is okay, that there's nothing wrong with them. There's numbers for Samaritan, that we are still here. Even though we're not in your home anymore, we're still here to help you. So call us, reach out to us. They're always connected to Samaritan, and this packet helps them realize that they're not alone, and we're here, they just have to pick up the phone.
There's a beautiful poem that we recite to the family, and then there's this little homemade clay heart, they're handmade, and then we present it to whoever the closest loved one is.
While this is kind of the end of hospice service in terms of this person has lived and died, it's not the end of Samaritan service. So we provide grief support services to our bereaved family members for 13 months after the death of a loved one. We want to both honor a life lived, and we also want to prepare bereaved for practical and emotional and spiritual resources.
In general, the families are very, very touched that we've taken the time to put together a little bit of a presentation. It puts them more at ease, and it lets them to remember that, and it reinforces the idea that we are a whole team. When I do a pronouncement many, many times, 99% of the time, as I'm going to leave the home, somebody in the family will come up to me and tell me, please tell the aide how wonderful they were. And it gives me such pride to know that I work for an organization and with a team that they appreciate what we do.
I've had a great experience recently with a family that I went out to pronounce, and I read the poem. What I noticed in that moment was the room was very quiet. They're listening, you know, they're taking a breath. They're given this minute to reflect. And when I finished, I remember the one daughter said to me, I love that heart. Maybe we should have our priest bless it.
We had a situation here in the inpatient unit. Patient had come in and died very quickly. The fiance was in the room. She was stunned. I had asked the home health aide to come in with me, and I brought one of the hearts. And I explained to her, I said that this heart is a grounding object. This heart is going to give you strength at this time right now. So hold this heart in your hand, take his hand, and put it together. So she started talking to him, and she started telling him how much she loved him, and she started telling him how much she's gonna miss him. Our ritual brings in elements that help that human experience. For example, we may open up the curtains to bring in natural light. We may dim the lights and turn on a table lamp or light a candle. We may use perfume or a favorite cologne of the family so it smells like them. All of these things help that family feel that they're connected still with that loved one. When we introduce the heart and we talk about the heart, how it's made by Samaritans, our volunteers, and by organizations that want to give back, now they're connected to something bigger than themselves. They're connected to these organizations and these people that love, these people that want to reach out and be connected to them. And through this process, suddenly we're all feeling like we belong to something very special, that we belong to something that could be eternal, that is universal. It fills us with a strength and an energy that you can't get from anywhere else. For as long as we live, they too will live, for they are now part of us as we remember them.